I am absolutely in favour of living a soft life and taking care of yourself. But sometimes self-love means tough love. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, I'm Rosie Blythe. I'm the author of the Princess Guide to Life book series, and on this channel we talk about everything from finances to spirituality. And today I wanted to talk about those times when self-love means being a little bit tough with yourself. It's sort of a counterpart to a video I recently made about living a soft life, because some of the things I was coming up with, I was like, that's not really a soft life, it's more like the things you have to do to get to a soft life. So I figured I'd just make a different video, because getting to live a soft life in the long term sometimes means having to be a little bit tough with ourselves in the short term. Here are some budget-friendly tips on how to make tough love work for you. So first of all, if you find yourself overwhelmed with everything that you need to do, and I'm talking to myself here, I have to make to-do lists like pretty much daily, because otherwise I find it really overwhelming to think of all the different things that I need to do in my work life, in my life admin, in my taking care of my home, taking care of my pet, family stuff. There's a lot, right? What I find really useful is to make one big master list of absolutely everything that I need to do. I don't know about you, but my list of stuff to do ends up pretty varied. It's like finish X project at work, book myself a dentist checkup, take the dog for his vet's appointment, touch up that peeling paintwork in my house, deep clean the fridge. You know, all of this stuff, it ends up being so varied. What I find really useful is to make one big master list with absolutely everything on it, because once it's out of my head, it's not swirling around, and then you can start breaking down how you're going to actually tackle all of the jobs, put them in priority order, what really needs to be done and what can be left for 6 months. Sometimes it's like, well, this work project takes priority because if I don't do it, my boss will get mad. Work on my home needs to be done because if I don't do it now, it will get worse, you know, like cracking paintwork or whatever. Or it might be, for me, it's seasonal, because it's like if I need to do something on the exterior of my boat, I'm going to have to do it before autumn comes, because then it's going to be raining, it'll be too cold for paint to dry, so like that needs to happen now-ish. Socializing, like, oh, I really need to see this person because they're going to think I hate them because I keep saying I'm too busy to see them. All of this stuff. So sometimes it can be really overwhelming to try and fit everything in and try to work out what's a priority. But I guarantee having it all written down will make you feel better, will make you feel more in control. And I think also walk around your home and make a little list of everything that you see that you need to do, because if you have a painting in your bedroom that you keep meaning to hang up, every time you see it, you're like, oh, I need to hang that up. Yeah. I need to add that to my list. Yeah, I'll do that when I've got some free time. And then you don't do it, and then the next day you wake up and the first thing you see is that painting on your bedroom floor. And you're like, oh yeah, I need to hang that up today. Figure out the best place to do it. I need to get a hammer and nails, I need to do that. And there might be stuff all around your home, and every time you see something that you need to do that you haven't done, it zaps your energy. If you just do it, you'll feel so much better. And sometimes that priority might be like, do the thing that you're going to see every day, because as long as you keep seeing it every day, it's going to be nagging at you at the back of your mind. But I think just having things written down, it makes me feel calmer, so I hope that it will do the same for you. And people have been spreading ideas online about how to do this. One thing I've heard of is a scary hour. So like you set a timer for an hour and then you do like the scariest things on your list, whether that's like doing your taxes or like writing that email you've been putting off, or, you know, tackling your bathroom floor, or whatever it is that you need to do. Just starting on that thing that you've been putting off. And and I saw on Twitter someone said that they were having a forcing party where all of their friends, they all got together like with their laptops, like, right, we're going to spend time, we're going to all force each other to do these jobs that we need to do. And someone was like, you need to work on that name. But I do like that idea if you're all together, because also you might find that you can help each other. Like if one of you is setting up a website and you're like, oh, I've been putting it off, I know I need to do it for my business, but oh, it's just so tedious. And someone else might be there who knows all about websites and can help. It might be a bit of a displacement activity for them not doing their thing. But I think it could work really well. And also it's a great social that costs nothing. So I'm in favour. This is when we really get into the financial side of things. Here's another thing that doesn't feel like a soft life, but it will result in a softer life, and that is going through all of your finances. So I think we've all had a subscription that we've forgotten about, and then we look at our bank statement and we're like, oh crap, I've been getting charged this much a month for the last like 6 months and I never used that thing. So annoying. So it's really worth going through your bank statements, just checking like what are these things that are going. Some might be once a year, so you need to check your bank statements, but it's so worth doing. And maybe like there's a subscription that you're like, I do use it, but not that much. Do I really need Netflix and Apple TV? Do I really need Amazon Prime? And it's really worth just looking at where you've got your money invested, and I'm including your current bank account in that, because some bank accounts charge and a lot don't. So if you pay for your bank account, some of them you are getting benefits. It's like, oh, okay, you pay this much and then you get this much in cash back. You get this much off your utility bills or whatever. But some of them you'll end up like, I don't think that actually works out as a really great deal. So definitely worth checking to see if there is an equivalent bank account that doesn't charge. I know it's boring. I know it's annoying. It's the kind of job I put off forever, and then I do it and it takes like 20 minutes. But it's so worth that little bit of effort just to see if you're getting the best deal that you can. And also with bank accounts, I don't know if this is universal, but certainly in the UK, there are banks that will give you money for switching. I think I've switched pretty much every bank that there is in the UK at some point or another, so most of them I can't do now, or at least I can't do for so many years. Some people, including me, will switch and then they'll have that bank account for a few years and then like, oh, that interest rate or whatever has dropped, that benefit that they offered has gone, so I'm going to switch again. And you can just keep switching. Like, it's probably a good idea to keep one bank account steady so that you have, oh, I've had this one for 10 years. It makes you look a bit more respectable. And you can have multiple bank accounts, even if they all require like, oh, you have to put this much in per month. You can just switch it around. I do this, like first day of the month, I basically take, 2,000 or 1,000 or whatever. You take that chunk of money and just move it from bank account to bank account until it's gone round and it's fulfilled all of the criteria for all of those bank accounts, and then I get all the benefits. If you're struggling to fit things in, like in the evenings or around whenever your work hours are, I would really recommend just booking a day off work just to catch up with stuff, just to catch up with yourself. Because I think like if you have limited days of leave from your job, you don't want to waste it on like life admin. You're like, oh no, that's really boring. But I think if you spend one day, like do a bit of prep beforehand with your lists of all the things you need to do. And if you spend one day just making a big chunk of progress on a lot of it, it will help you to feel so much more in control. And I think that things get put off when you're trying to fit it in, squeeze it in around work. You're like, oh yeah, I'll do that after work. Like, no, you're going to put something on Netflix and you're going to look at your phone for the evening. You're not going to start regrouting the bathroom. So sometimes I think the best way around this is just to book that chunk of time. And also don't tell anyone that you have the day off, because they'll be like, oh, let's do lunch. Oh, let's go to a museum. No, you are concentrating on your own thing. And it takes the pressure off trying to get everything done. Like if you're trying to get something done that isn't part of your ordinary life, like you're redecorating your hallway, like you're going to have some time off to do it. You can work around your office hours or whatever, but it just means you're always going to be exhausted. Take a day, get a big chunk of it done, and then the rest will be kind of easy to fill in around those evenings or mornings or whatever. So this is about rewards. You've got to have a reward for yourself when you do these hard things, when you do that annoying bit of life admin that's been sitting on your to-do list for like 6 months. You've got to come up with a reward for yourself. So this is the fun part. And this works in everyday life. For instance, I have spoken before about my love of audiobooks. By the way, Audible, not sponsoring me. I use BorrowBox actually. It's like a library app. They're not sponsoring me either. But I do find that it really enhances your life. And if you set yourself up like, okay, you can listen to your audiobook when you do the washing up. And I think it really works if you have an audiobook that you only listen to when you're doing those chores. Like, oh, I need to go and do the washing up. Oh, I get to listen to a chapter of my audiobook. Everyone has some jobs that they have to do that they find really tedious. So finding ways to make those really annoying chores more enjoyable is going to enhance your life so much. Also, this isn't really tough love, but this is just like a little tip from me to you. These small things like buying cleaning products that you really love the scent. Like that can make cleaning so much more enjoyable. I know that sounds really sad, but it works for me. You've just got to find ways to make washing up more fun, is what I'm really saying. So declutter. I am a maximalist, not a minimalist. I like stuff. I'm not ashamed to buy nice little decor pieces that I think are cute, but I do have too much stuff. I think getting rid of a bunch of stuff is so good for the soul. Also, I recommend doing it if you're in a bad mood, because it makes you more ruthless. Like if you're a little bit angry with the world in general, you'll pick stuff up and be like, what the hell am I keeping this for? This piece of crap. That can go in the bin. Don't do it if you're irrationally angry. But I do find like a bit of a bad mood, bit of an edge does help to cut the sentimentality. And here comes the financial bonus. You can make money from it. I mean, we live in the era of eBay and Vinted and car boot sales. I have a bunch of like big things that I need to get rid of, and I'm like, oh, if I put it on a Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to have people phoning up, arranging to come round. It's going to be annoying. I'd rather just go one day, car boot sale, try and get rid of as much stuff as I can. I know I probably won't get very much money for it, but it will be an experience. So that is what I'm planning to do. I'll have to try and update you if I do this. But I do think it's really worth getting rid of stuff. You have more space. You don't have drawers full of stuff that you've forgotten all about. So then you just like all the stuff that you do have left can kind of spread out a bit more evenly, and you won't feel as cluttered or as overwhelmed with your belongings. And I think especially with wardrobes, we hold on to clothes because we have happy memories of them, and it's like, you know, just take a photograph, remember that great night out that you had in that dress that doesn't fit you anymore, and let someone else enjoy it. Sell it on Vinted and make money. I'm a really big fan of physical media. These days everyone saves all their photos onto the cloud. That's great. It's really cool to have access, but I regularly take all the pictures off my phone, put them on my laptop, and I save them onto hard drives. Multiple hard drives, by the way, and then I keep them in different places. Because A, we don't know if the internet will always be with us. You just never know. It sounds really morbid, but if anything catastrophic ever happened to the internet, you don't want all your photos to be lost. And also, if your house got burgled and you had all your hard drives in the same place. I am haunted by a story I read online years ago where someone had their laptop stolen and their external hard drives that they kept in the same place were stolen at the same time. All of their photos were gone, like all of their kids' baby years were gone. Photos of our loved ones and just memories of places you've lived or places you've worked or whatever, just happy moments, are so precious. It's so crucial to keep them somewhere that they cannot be destroyed. I think it's also important to do this with music and with movies. If you stream everything, one of my friends had like the perfect soundtrack all organised in advance for Christmas. Like when the family was sitting around for Christmas dinner, he like chosen all these songs really carefully, and then the internet went down, so they couldn't listen to anything. And this is when physical media really comes into its own. So I would say definitely things that you want to preserve forever, all your photos and important documents. Don't rely on the internet and clouds to keep them safe. Get them back onto multiple hard drives and then keep it in different places. And this is definitely one of those boring chores that you're like, yeah, I will do that one day. Yeah, I'll totally. I'm going to buy a hard drive and yeah, I'm going to do it. If you've been thinking about doing this for a while and you keep putting it off, this is your sign to do it today. So tough love and financial tip all rolled into one. Stop spending money on takeout food. It is the most ridiculous way that you can waste money, because you can buy food in a grocery store, in a supermarket, for a fraction of the price. All you need to do is heat it up. So there is this discourse at the moment online about how some people actually think it's cheaper to eat out than it is to cook at home. And they're sort of citing these like, oh, I spent this much on ingredients. And then, you know, if I count the hours that I spend doing it, and also the saucepans, the power that I'm using, my oven, the heat, it all costs. It's cheaper to go out. It is not cheaper to go out. It's never, I don't think it's ever in the history of the universe been cheaper to eat out than it is to cook at home. And I do get it. I understand sometimes you're so tired after work and there's nothing in the house and you're like, well, I don't want to drive out to the supermarket. I'm going to get some food delivered. I deserve it. I've been working hard. Yeah. But you're still paying so much more than you need to for just basic sustenance. And a lot of people are not going to have the time to cook from scratch. Like, I get that. But, you know, just spending a little bit of time either going to the supermarket or getting your shopping delivered, just get a bunch of ready meals. And it's no good saying, oh, but that's not very healthy. Takeout food isn't healthy. Restaurant food isn't healthy for the most part. If you were alongside a restaurant chef, you would see how much butter and salt they put in everything, and sugar. And the same goes for ready meals, I guess. But you do have other options, and I think if you spend that little bit of time shopping, you can do it online. And this may not be the case everywhere, but I would say the vast majority of people watching this, there is an option for you to get your supermarket shopping delivered. So you can just spend that little bit of time, and maybe even just spend the time once. I think most supermarkets allow you to kind of make one order and then keep that stored so that you can just get the same order over and over again, like maybe with a few different tweaks, and just get it delivered. Or just like order it for collection and get it on your way home or whatever. Like, yeah, living on ready meals isn't ideal, but living on takeout is even less ideal, and it will cost you more. So I think you've got to be a little bit tough on yourself and just have that discipline to not go, oh, I'll just get Deliveroo. Because you will waste so much of your money, and it won't be good for your health either. And the supermarket shopping is not cooking from scratch. It doesn't take the same amount of effort. It just cuts the cost at least in half. So in the soft life video, I was talking about you don't need to go hell for leather when you go to the gym. You don't need to be like running on the treadmill for hours and lifting weights and being really hardcore. But I do think it is so worth doing exercise. I have this tendency to talk myself out of exercise, even though I love it. I started swimming regularly several years ago when I'd started to feel a bit unfit, but lockdowns meant that leisure centres were shut for a while, and then I got this puppy. And even once he was old enough for me to leave him alone for a while, I was like, if I'm walking him several hours a day, I don't really want to go swimming as well. I'll be knackered. But I love swimming so much that this year I convinced myself that I could manage swimming twice a week and just do easy walks on those days. And I still put it off. I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't know which membership to go for. Oh, should I go for the gym and the swimming? I don't know. And in the end, I had to just say to myself, just pick one. Just start going. It doesn't matter which one you get. You can always change later. So I did, and I've started going twice a week, and I love it, and I can't believe that I put it off for so long. It was like I was literally putting off something I wanted to do. And the thing is, I think we all do this sometimes. I'm self-employed, so I get to choose how I spend my time. And so it was almost like, oh, no, I shouldn't go and exercise because I should be working. So there's always a reason not to do that thing. But I do think that you have to treat exercise not necessarily as like a leisure, fun thing, but an investment in your health. Because for me, I was like, I'm starting to feel like if I don't do this, I'm starting to feel a bit sluggish. I'm, putting on a few pounds that I don't feel good about. And it's not actually like a cosmetic thing, because I feel like I don't look any different. But I can feel it in my body when I don't exercise or when I eat too much. It's just like, I just feel heavier. I feel sluggish. When I go swimming, I feel fantastic. And when I eat right, I feel fantastic. So I do think you've got to think of it like an investment in your health, because your health really is all you have in the end. Your career might take off, you might be a billionaire, you might live in a fantastic house and drive the car of your dreams and have the relationship of your dreams and have beautiful children, everything. If you don't have health, then none of that matters. And, find something that you love to do. I love swimming. So now that I have actually committed to that membership, it's easy for me to go. I want to go. If you're trying to make yourself do something that you're not interested in, yeah, you're going to dread it and you're going to make excuses not to go. Gym equipment in your home is great because it means you're on a rainy, dark night, but like, oh yeah, I guess I should go to the gym. Like, you can just do it at home. Even just dancing in your kitchen, like if you did that every day for like 15-20 minutes, that would make a difference. Certainly like cardiovascular health, like that would really work. So do the thing that makes you feel good, but do it. So I touched on this in the soft life video that I made, and it's about saying no to the things that you don't really want to do so that you can say yes to the things that you do want to do. Because I think if you're busy, like got your head down and you're not kind of making social plans for yourself, you will end up being corralled into social plans that are made for you. And because you haven't got anything else booked on those days, you're like, okay, I guess I will come to that party that you've invited me to, or whatever it is. Learning to say no to people is really difficult, and this is something I struggle with because, as I said, I'm self-employed, so I basically make my own schedule. So I find that people who have the day off or don't work or work on flexi time will be the ones saying like, oh, let's meet up in the week, and it's like, but that's my work time. And you sort of feel like they're thinking, but you can choose your work, like I'm inviting you to this thing, you could come and then you could like work later. So it's like I might have to say no to 3 people so that I can say yes to the 4th. And sometimes you just have to say no to everyone so that you get to do the thing that you want to do. And you might find that you get voluntold to do things, you know, where your mum might be like, oh yes, I told Auntie Valerie that you'd be happy to babysit on Saturday night. And you're like, what? And if you say no, then she's like, oh, but I already promised her. And you're like, no, that's not my problem. So it is hard to say no, especially if your family or your friends or your community is used to you saying yes. And I think nice people always seem to get trapped in this. I know one of my mum's friends, she's such a sweet lady, and she's great at cooking. She and her husband, they're like pastors of a church, and they get roped into doing catering for things. People are just taking advantage of the fact that she's a great cook and she's really kind. And it's like, even if she says like, oh, it's a bit much actually, I won't be able to take that on. Here are some numbers of some caterers. They're like, oh, but I really want you to do it. And it's like, doesn't matter. Pay for your own blooming catering. You may not have any examples as extreme as that in your life. I hope that you don't. I hope that's a real rarity. But you may find that you have trouble saying no to friends. I know I do, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And if, you know, someone keeps saying like, oh, let's catch up, and I'm always like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm really busy this week. Or they ask me for a specific day and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't do that day. Like, after a while, they're probably going to get a bit of a complex. Like, she never says yes to me, and it's not deliberate. I'm not trying to like fade them out. So I think it's really important to consciously make plans with the people that you really want to make plans with. Like, even if it's far in advance, just say, I really want to book a date with you because otherwise I won't get to see you because like, everything's crazy. And I think we all suffer from this like over busyness, 21st century overwhelm, don't we? Or is it just me? Because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else. So if you say yes to the people that you're not that bothered about seeing because they're the first ones who asked you, then yeah, you're going to end up doing all the things that you're not that bothered about. So you've got to learn to say no. No matter how tough it is, you've got to learn to say no and risk being seen as the bad guy. Risk being seen as that person who doesn't care enough. But you know, you care about yourself. And again, online I saw somebody talking about they and their friends made a scorecard, and every time they said no to something, they got a tick, and then like if they filled in the scorecard, they get a reward. So I think that would be a really good way to kind of rewire your brain to like saying no gets you something good. So my last point may seem paradoxical given what we've just been talking about in terms of saying no to stuff for your self-care, but this is kind of the flip side, and I think it's important to talk about both sides of this at the same time. So we've talked about how you have to be kind of tough on yourself and make yourself say no even when that's uncomfortable. Now I'm going to talk about when you should probably say yes, even though it's uncomfortable. And this isn't some kind of like challenge to say yes to everything, because I can't think of anything worse or more stupid to do than that. But I'm just going to be really blunt. I think that the obsession with self-care and mental health, we sometimes use it as an excuse to just never do the things that we don't want to do. But I think sometimes it really is essential to push ourselves to do the things that we don't want to do, because that is where growth happens. Because I think sometimes we can sort of wrap ourselves in cotton wool and be like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that, so I'm not going to do that because, you know, I've got to protect myself. And we use it as an excuse to never do anything we don't want to do. But I think this can actually have a really detrimental effect. So in 2 different ways. So first of all, let's say, for instance, your friend is an artist and they have invited you to a gallery exhibition of their work, and you've been like, yeah, I'm going to come, that'll be great, yeah. The day of the event comes and it's like a Friday night. You get in from work and you're like, okay, I've got to like get changed. I've got to get the train from North London to South London, and it's going to take an hour, and then it's like I'm not going to know anyone and my friend won't have any time to talk to me, and I would just be like, oh, I'll feel really awkward and I really don't feel like going. And I just want to like sit back and watch Netflix and eat pizza. And I think for my self-care and for my mental health, I think that's what I should do. And so you text your friend and you're like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm just so exhausted, I can't come tonight. And your friend's like, oh, okay, no worries. And you stay in and you have a lovely evening. You're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't go to that thing. Oh, this was so much nicer than trekking across town and being awkward and having to make small talk with strangers. But your friendship is a little bit damaged. Your friend knows that you could have come if you really wanted to, and you just didn't bother, you didn't feel like it. And if you always do this, if you're always the person who flakes at the last minute, if you're always just like, oh, I don't want to do that, no, I don't feel comfortable, it is going to damage your friendships. So that short-term gain for like, oh, I didn't have to do the thing that I didn't want to do, it actually ends up damaging you in the long term because your friendships take a hit and you maybe get a reputation for being a bit flaky. I'm sorry, this is really brutal, but it's a fact. Like, not everyone is going to have limitless patience with you putting yourself first all the time. And I feel like we've all been trained now that like, oh, your self-care comes first. And it's like, well, yeah, sometimes it does, but at some point in your life, you're going to have to put yourself out for somebody else. That is how life works. You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. You may not feel like going to your kids' like kindergarten school play because you're like, oh, all the other parents are not going to talk to me, and oh, it's going to be really boring. All the bits that my kid isn't in will be boring to watch. You're going to do it anyway though, right? Because that's part of life. It's part of life's rich pattern. You're not going to have 100% enjoyment of every minute of every day. You're going to have to sometimes do things that don't feel good in that moment, don't feel good in the short term, but they're going to have long-term benefits. And just another way to look at this, I remember when I did work experience when I was 16, I did work experience in the BBC magazine department because I put down that I wanted to work in writing and journalism and stuff like that. So it kind of worked out. So I was given all these like, you know, fairly basic tasks, but I had to phone up and book a courier to pick something up or deliver something. And I think a lot of teenagers don't like making phone calls and talking to strangers. And I didn't, and I was really shy. But there wasn't really like an option for me to say, oh no, I don't really feel like I can do that. So I just did it. And funnily enough, like in the next few years when I ended up working on reception in production companies, that was like most of my day was ringing up and booking couriers and taking deliveries and stuff like that. So it became so ordinary to me. But here's the thing, if somebody had said, oh, you don't feel comfortable making a phone call, oh okay, no, don't worry then, we won't do that. If I hadn't been essentially made to make that phone call, I would have been stuck in that fear of like, oh, it's so scary making phone calls. It's not scary making phone calls, but if you think that it is, if you don't overcome that fear, the only way to overcome that fear is by doing it. And then you realise like, oh, it's nothing. It's just talking to another human being. It's fine. And I think that we can sometimes do ourselves a disservice if we don't do that challenging thing. If we're like, oh no, I don't feel comfortable, so I'm not going to do it. We never overcome that uncomfortable feeling and get to a point where actually it's like it's completely fine to do that thing. So even though this goes against probably a lot of what you've heard about self-care and mental health, if you never do the thing that you don't want to do, it will actually have a detrimental effect on your life. And I think sometimes just pushing yourself a little bit, you know, not doing crazy out of character things, but just doing that thing that you don't really feel like doing, that you don't feel comfortable doing, sometimes is the only way to get to that next level where you're like, oh, actually I do feel really comfortable. And you'll find that you can do those things and they all become no big deal. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I can walk into a party where I don't know anyone. It's easy. You just start chatting to someone. It's fine. Here I can work freelance. Like, it will be going into different workplaces all the time. That's no big deal. They're all just people. Whereas if you always shy away from those things, you're always going to think that they're these like insurmountable peaks, impossible challenges that you just can't meet. And it's like, they're not. You can do it. So those are my tips on tough love as self-love. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope that you've got something useful out of this video. I hope you'll join me for future videos. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in future. Take care. Bye.